Probably. It depends on like the situation. I think for the most part, people would mind their business, but they'll
Like
take
if
out
they
their
notice
phone.
it,
They'll take out their phones.
if you're stealing,
Yeah, they'll start recording like,
if you
give
take
it back.
like a pack of meat,
Give it back.
if you take like a pack of meat, stuffing it down your pants, and try to, if they see that, yeah, but like if you just like a hot fireball or something, you slide that thing in your pocket, man. I don't think people gonna notice it, and they do, they be like, I don't think they're gonna like broadcast that. I don't know.
He's stealing.
It's, okay. What's good, y'all? It's the Demouchet REACT, and we're back with another video. Who we got today, C?
Today we're back with another American reaction. Super excited about this video. If you're new to us
And we're new to you,
make sure you scroll down,
hit that subscribe button,
and turn on the post notification bell
because we're on the road to 200K.
And we cannot get there without you guys, alright? Join the family. Without further ado, let's get into the video.
So first of all, something that I have noticed in both countries is that it's pretty safe. And it's really peaceful in both countries. So in every country, there are some sketchy people, there are places that you're scared to go and all that. But from what I have noticed or what we've noticed, we just know that both countries are really safe and peaceful. For those of you who live in Ghana, you notice or you know that sometimes like late at night people just like wake up to go to places or get in the troll that's just like a public car, and you feel like, okay, yeah, these people, even though I don't know them, I'm good to go with them because they're not going to hurt me. And sometimes you just walk around on the streets really late at night or really early in the morning, and you don't, maybe you might be scared, you might look left and right twice before you decide to go, but it's still just really safe and peaceful, and hurting people isn't something that's like really common. And since ever since I came to America, I've noticed the same thing, that both countries are pretty safe and peaceful.
I wish you would say
I definitely kind of see what you're saying there, but it really just depends on where you reside, like where you live. So when I was in Ghana, I was in an area called Bibiani. That place, you definitely don't want to go outside at night, because there's a lot of villages around, and so you don't want to get stuck in the village coming back to the city at night, because some people do weird stuff in the bush and stuff like that.
Yeah, like I said, there are sketchy places everywhere you go. It's not like everywhere in Ghana or everywhere in America is safe, or everyone is safe, or
and definitely in America.
General.
Yeah, she's about like in general. And I mean, that's just truth about perspective. When you go in any location, you want to look left and right and make sure everything is secure, that you're, you know, putting yourself in a good position to do whatever it is you need to do. So what does he mean when he said that people are in the bush?
I was thinking maybe like behind the
Normally
trees.
behind
or,
it. Yeah.
You know, the woods.
Spying almost.
Yeah.
All right, not
like
bad.
like maybe similar to our alleys.
Yeah,
like when we're walking and somebody in the alley just waiting, you know.
Makes sense.
Okay, you know the neighborhood you're in. It just depends. Where we live, super safe. People like leave their cars running and go inside the store. I don't do that because that's not the type of neighborhood I was raised in. But where we currently are, I was at the post office just yesterday.
yeah.
And there's a car running that I pulled up next to. I was like, okay, somebody's probably gonna be inside. Cool. I didn't really look, but I went inside and then I followed a lady out, and she got in her car and she was all alone. I was like,
Is
wow,
that
okay.
like a difference between a guy and a girl thing? Like, did you do that when you would put up to the gas station? You would hop out, leave your car running?
I'm locking my car. I'm doing everything because of where I was raised.
I feel like, but I think I just took chances with that. Like, I would hop out, like the car would still be running.
I know.
Like, sometimes we would leave the doors open and the music would be playing, and they would run in the store and they would come out. And it's just like, it's just kind of the
It
way.
does depend on like where you're doing it at.
Yeah. I got you. Yeah.
And that's something I noticed in Ghana too. People will leave their car running because they just, you know, if you do something like if you do a criminal act in Ghana, instant justice, you'll get taken care of real quick.
Especially when you're in the crowded area. You don't want to do or get involved in anything criminal in a crowded area.
So like the safety, the peace, they're pretty similar. Ghana, I would say, is more peaceful than America. America has a ton of, obviously, indifferences with
Race, like I think that racial issue is
like the racial issues
high.
kind of big, as well as political. That's the word I'm trying to do.
Oh, yeah.
Political issues
All the
and
time,
everything like
100%.
that.
All
It's
around.
just
I mean,
super,
in Ghana there is political issues,
yeah, but
but
nothing crazy.
yes,
like you have
it
like
doesn't
John
get-
Mahama and then Akufo-Addo
and that's even I think that's different.
Like we watch you guys videos that you guys will send over, and I think it's more like in South Africa. But I see overall, kind of like overall, that when it comes to politics, you guys know like how to make light of certain situations.
Oh,
Like they would be laughing, they
joking.
would be joking. They're very blunt and straightforward. Here in the U.S., they're like they want to be as organized as possible. They don't want to make no mistakes, and they try to run around questions and stuff. But I hear like you guys, y'all be like, no, we gonna talk about this. We gonna check this. Like
Yeah, we haven't seen any like political stuff from Ghana really.
yeah,
But like here, they take it too far here. Like they take it too personal here.
that as well.
And some of our politicians forget that they are representing the people.
Yeah.
They think that they are celebrities.
Right.
You're not a celebrity.
They didn't come to see you. They came to talk about what it is that you have control over.
Right.
And they need your help, but the help ain't helping the needed. So it's like, but that's not a conversation. I'm not doing this today.
North versus the South.
The South,
pretty much. The
yes.
Muslims versus Christians. That's
But it's
kind
not
of
that crazy. Just
crazy.
Yes,
like you have
it
like
doesn't
John
get-
Mahama and then Akufo-Addo
and that's even I think that's
the
different.
North versus the South.
South,
Pretty much. The
yes.
Muslims versus Christians. That's
But
kind
it's
of
not that crazy.
Oh, wait,
just
no.
there are
We're
good
talking
people
about-
around.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
The only time that I ever felt unsafe in Ghana was the night the Queen Mother died, which was about 3 years ago now. I don't know if you guys remember, but correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was 3 years ago. The Queen Mother died. I was in Kumasi, the Ashanti region, and so they said you have to clear the streets out of respect. And there would be people like walking the streets.
Cutting heads.
I don't know how much of that's true, but obviously juju's real. But
Yes.
We had to be kind of on lockdown for a little while, especially because of that. That's the only time I was kind of like, ooh, like did this really happen? Then I heard like gossip about people saying, oh yeah, there's bodies in the gutter. I was like, okay.
I've heard that since I was little, but I don't know anyone who gotten their head chopped off because the queen or a king died. They tell us all the time, your parents would be like, stay in the house, the queen mother or the king is dead, and you're cutting heads. I think the belief behind that is that whoever's head they cut goes or have to die with the queen or the king to guard them. You know how when you're alive they have people guarding them. When they die, they need people to guard them. So they do that, and they can't just run into people's house and say, "Hey, come out! You need to guard the king," and cut off your head.
Oh, no.
They tell us it's whoever is not listening to the curfew and is outside, then you're dead. But I don't really know how true that is, honestly. So if you know it's true, if you know someone who's had your heads chopped off, please let us know.
Like the only time for me personally that I'd ever seen any of this instant justice or anything kind of that surprised me in Ghana was when a man stole some gizzard in the market. This was in the Nkoko area, like Kanongo area, like that. In that main market, a man stole some gizzard from the meat seller, and the meat seller, he was trying to talk to the man to tell him to give it back. He saw it. He didn't want to make a big issue because then he knows things will escalate. And the man said, no, and he just kept going his way. And everyone started to, crawl
Notice,
and they went and they started to beat him.
Shouting
and,
thief.
Yeah, and I watched him get beat to death. That was kind of...
Okay, so it's different because it's like thieving out there for you guys is a big no-no. It's like none of that
Doing
unnecessary
anything
stuff that is going to harm the community or make everybody look as like they're bad people. That's why they probably jumped on them so viciously.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
people work
definitely different
hard.
from the U.S., man.
Right, but people work hard for what they have. You
No,
know?
I feel that 100%.
It's different from the U.S. We could say that up until a week ago, right?
What happened a week ago?
Things are changing. The ancestors are waking us up.
I understand that. But we talking about like just okay.
The ancestors are waking us up.
I'm trying to see something here. Okay, I'm listening to my antennas. Okay. Yeah, I'm talking about people.
We have unity.
We have unity, but when it comes to like just thieving and stuff, I feel like you be approached more so by like an elder or somebody that's like in the area. They'd be like, "Yo, bro, you wrong. You need to put that back." Mom would tell you, "You stole something. Let me go back and show you what you're not supposed to do, and tell the man that what you stole from him." Like we do things of that nature, but I don't think a person is going to get viciously, attacked by the crowds of people for stealing a bubble gum.
Probably. It depends on like the situation. I think for the most part, people would mind their business, but they'll take out their phone. They'll take out their phones.
If you're stealing?
Yeah, they'll start recording like,
if you
give
take
it back.
Like a pack of meat.
Give it back.
If you take like a pack of meat, stuffing it down your pants, and if they see that, yeah, but like if you just like a hot fireball or something, you slide that thing in your pocket, man, I don't think people gonna notice it, and they be like, I don't think they're gonna like broadcast that. I don't know.
He's stealing.
Okay. All right.
That was sad. So that was sad. I definitely have never seen anybody get beat to death in America. Yeah, over like the worst part of the chicken. Like
just call the police or something.
Yeah, and so that's definitely something that was interesting. But overall safety and peace.
That's good.
It kind of goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
You have your goods, your bads, your pros, your cons, but overall, that was one of the similarities to us.
Yeah, and for those who have never been to Ghana or are trying to go to Ghana or are there right now watching this, if you see someone getting beaten for being a thief or whatever, if you know they stole it or not, or if you feel bad and you want to help them, please don't. You're just gonna get involved. You're gonna feel like, well, you're
check that out. That's hey, I'm gonna just go ahead. That's jail rules. Cause you don't know what that man did for that for that alignment to happen between him and his altercation. Cause a lot of times you go poke your nose in someone else's house and you trying to help him. Whole time he owed death. You know what I'm saying? And they just making sure they get what they needed back in return. A lot of times people don't want to make that payment. They want to be thieves. They want to take steal and try to keep it on the hush hush. So yeah, I wouldn't poke my nose in nobody's stuff like that. Nah, y'all jumping somebody.
The most I'ma do is go tell the proper person and film. I'm not jumping in nobody. I'm not jumping in that water.
Hey! Oh, that's the one. I ain't jumping in that water. Nah, ain't happening.
Than the person, and they're just gonna beat you two to death. So no matter how bad you feel, if you can call the police to, get involved, that would be the best way. Just don't try to stop them or plead for that person. You're just gonna get yourself hurt or something.
All right, the second similarity that we've noticed is kind of the industrialization of Ghana. You're kind of starting to implement American things. First of all, KFC, Burger King, those mainstream America fast food restaurants, in the Accra Mall, as well as by the airport, you have that Burger King. And then KFC is all over the place. That's in Kumasi and Accra. And they are very similar. There's not much of a difference. You have a drive-through.
Remember that Papa Pizza we had? Was it Papa Pizza? And then you're like, this is exactly the same one in America.
And Pizza Hut. That's right. Yeah.
It's Pizza Hut, not Papa Pizza.
Yeah, Pizza Hut. I don't like Pizza Hut here, but over in Ghana, it was actually really pretty good. Yeah. So, that's one of the big similarities is the fast food type of ordeal, as well as a lot of the smaller pizza.
I feel like
pizza joints are starting to deliver and do things like that. Because you have like DoorDash here, Grubhub, Postmates, Uber Eats, stuff like that. And so that's one of the similarities between them. What do you think about that?
I also feel like fast food kind of began a long time ago in Ghana before the real fast food from America. You know what I mean? Like the street ladies who sell.
Takeaway, yeah.
Yes, the street. Even drive-through was a thing because sometimes you pull over by this corn roaster or someone roasting corn or plantain, and then the driver will just yell, "Can I have two?" And then they'll rush it over to him. So I feel like Americans and Ghanaians, or maybe other people do it, but for what we know, Americans and Ghanaians really like fast food. Sometimes they'll just go to a chop bar to eat instead of cooking. People here will go to Burger King or McDonald's or whatever instead of cooking. So I just feel like that's something common between Ghana and US, that the people there and here both like fast foods. Yeah. Okay, so the third thing that we've also noticed that is common between both countries is the wrong impression that both countries have on the other country. Like Ghanaians have a wrong impression on what America is like or how Americans are like, and Americans have a wrong impression of how Ghana is like, or how the...
Before she dive into the impressions, I made a mention earlier in the video saying that it's all about what we see on TV. And a lot of times that's the only impression we get, and that's how we get our judgments in on a location or a group of people. So you got to always take that with a grain of salt, whether it's from your favorite movie. And again, a lot of this stuff can be impressionable on a person.
Right.
So
because people feel like if it's on TV or if it's on the internet, then it must be
it
true.
must be real.
No.
Negative thoughts.
No.
Nah. But yeah, let's see what she said.
People there are like. So first of all, I'm going to talk about how Ghanaians think Americans are like, or how America is like. In our last videos, for those who saw it, like I personally had that impression before I came here. I thought America was fancy with big buildings, snow everywhere, everyone is rich, you know. And that's something that
we get that in the comment section a lot.
We do.
When we're like, oh, this is expensive. They're like, y'all can afford it. How you know what I can afford?
Because y'all live in America. Y'all got it good. Everything is good out there. Y'all straight now.
No. The wealth gap in America is huge.
Y'all dealing with the budget queen. For real.
I don't care if I was the top percent in the wealth gap.
Yeah.
I'm still going budget.
Nah, bro, and that's like one thing that we always did say, no matter how much money we come across in life, y'all, we are going to make sure we have an understanding of where we at and how we're supposed to still display ourselves and, you know, treat ourselves as well. Because a lot of times people get it and it's right through their fingertips because it's like, what I needed in life is finally here. I could get it and it's like, it's gone instantly. So it's baby steps at the end of the day.
Everything I got is for my children. I'm saving
them
for
babies
them.
First, 100%.
And kind of think of like, once you go to America, you're rich. So even most people who have their relatives in America or think like, my parents are in America, my relative is in America and they're rich, they're supposed to be sending us a lot of money, which is wrong. Like, there are people living on the streets here in America.
Talk about
there are homeless people. There are people who can support their families. There are people who can't. People who can't eat.
That reminds me. Let me tell a story real quick. When we first got into New York, or first time in America, we were going through the terminal. So there's like a long hallway that you have to go through to get to the terminals, because JFK Airport is really big. And there was homeless people just laying inside the hallways of the terminals, just on the floor there. And she's like, why are these people laying here? Like, what the heck? Like, what are they doing? I was like, they're homeless? And she's like, no, they're not. Like, yeah, they're homeless. They don't have a home. They're here because it's freezing cold outside. She's like,
yes.
Oh, really? And you're like super, super surprised.
I know. It was just like, people. You're in America. How are you homeless? You know what I mean? Like, it was just.
And then another thing, like, the cost of living is crazy, especially now. Like, a lot of people are one paycheck away from homelessness. Homelessness doesn't just look like, oh, a person looks dirty, a person carrying around bags. No.
Nah, that's...
Homelessness can be your friend, could be your relative.
You will never know it.
You just don't know. Like, homelessness, that's a real problem here.
Especially when you're first going into the real world for the first time. Like, if you're out of high school or out of college or things of that nature. You're just moving out your parents' house. A lot of times, again, our school system doesn't necessarily give us the real fundamentals of adulthood. That comes from parents. Education. It gives us education only. And when you finally get into the real world, you got to understand something. It's not just bills you're paying for. You got to pay to live. You got to pay to eat. You got to have your expenses. You got to, you got little travel things that you like to do. A lot of times, people can't even leave because they got to paycheck that they gotta just live off of, that one little paycheck.
Right, and you gotta think about the cultural differences. In Ghana, it's normal for you all to have multi-generational homes where your grandparents are living with you, your aunts, your uncles, your cousins. Here, it's a big thing of when you turn 18, get out my house. That's a majority of the problem. You know, our culture, the family units.
Yeah.
You know, and again, we are a country of immigrants. everybody from somewhere else. So we created our own American culture, and that's a part of the problem, the family unit. That's why a lot of us are breaking generational curses, you know?
100%.
It's really confusing, but now I know how it works. So, yeah, people in Ghana have a really wrong impression about how America is supposed to be, or like the idea of once you're in America, you are rich. It's just something really common in Ghana. Like, yeah.
And definitely the US dollar does have a lot more value than the Ghana cedi, but everything falls into place. So in Ghana, I can buy my groceries for a week for 20 bucks.
That's even a lot. That's like 100 cedis.
I guess, yeah.
So that can't even take care of you for like 2
20
weeks.
cedis could actually, if you were
take care of
cutting
you
it
and
tight,
family.
Yeah, it could take care of you.
For a day.
Yeah, and so one of the biggest issues that I see with foreigners who are not Africans or Ghanaians is kind of the arrogance. So before even I was educated about Africa and Ghana, when I hear Africa, I just think Nigeria, Ghana, Sierra Leone, South Africa, Morocco. All those places are just the same thing. They're all Africa. They're all the same country, which is clearly not correct. And so a lot of Americans or foreigners just think Africa is poor, you don't have water, that you're starving, the kids are wearing rags, which is the case in very few places, which is a serious problem that is being worked on. But that's not the reality. You go to, I've only been to Accra, in Ghana. Sorry, I've only been to Ghana. And so when you first get in, you go to Accra, and Accra is very nice, like we showed you in our last video, in our differences video. The airport's super nice, the whole city's super nice, as well as even Kumasi. Kumasi's really nice too. Tamale, I really like Tamale. Tamale is really nice as well. So,
I think the problem that our culture here has as a whole is that anything that doesn't look like America, or anything that isn't run like America, the policies, the rules, the law of the land, is bad. Anything different from America is bad. I think that is the problem. That is why a lot of Americans have closed minds when it comes to experiencing other cultures.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
Because I'm trying to think, it's hard for me to think about us thinking about it before now.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
But how did we view Europe before? Like, why everything in Africa had to be this one thing?
Yeah.
But when we talk about Europe, we can talk about France. We could talk about Belgium as different things and having different ways of life. But anything on the African continent was the same. Like, I don't know where that comes from. Yeah, they
definitely put a whole sheet on Africa and made it seem like everybody was going through the same thing at one point. And that's the only, again, that's television. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Television, cartoons, and a little bit of history in our books that painted that picture when it came to the European culture as well. They had everything to where it's like, it was supposed to look like this. A lot of Greek mythology, from my perspective, from what I remember.
Greek.
And then from like the cartoons, from Discovery Channel to everything, bro. It's like they had painted it really how they want everybody to perceive it to be, and that's exactly what it was.
Yeah, I'm even trying to think about like the Caribbean islands. Like, it's kind of like they showed us what they wanted us.
What was it? Lilo and Stitch.
That was Hawaii, wasn't it?
Was it? Okay, but I mean, anybody who don't really necessarily understand what they're watching, they would think that's the level of Caribbean, Hawaiian-ish, something like that near some water because of how they displayed it every time. Yeah. So it's like...
Because, like, for the Caribbeans, the only thing I thought of Caribbeans was fun time. You know, I didn't even think of everything else. I'm just trying to understand why, when we were shown Africa, it was just the bad stuff.
That's how it was. They were sure asking us for, like, put a penny in a jar, put $1 in the jar. Oh, here's a tithing number. Call this number and send money over to these people so they can help the kids. And, yeah, it was... Didn't like the commercials. Didn't like the commercials.
The whole arrogance and thinking Africa's poor, that's a big issue. And so kind of what we wrap around to is Ghana and America both have this in common, that they have the wrong misconception about each other.
Yes.
Because a lot of the time when I was in Ghana, people are like, oh, Bruni, mama sika, like, give me
They
money.
think he's
or
rich.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Yes.
which granted, probably I do have a little bit more money than a lot of, obviously, the kids. The kids don't have money.
I mean,
but that's just kind of the mindset, is you're taught that Americans have everything. Yes. Money grows on trees.
That's not true.
You should have everything. And obviously, the more educated you are,
the more you realize
that that's not the case. But there's a lot
I also
of
feel like
education there. So
yeah, I also feel like Americans have like they just feel like Americans have a higher opportunity in getting money. Like you can legit do anything in America to gain money. Whereas in Ghana, some people are even educated to like the university level, and then you're still staying home without jobs.
Ghana is definitely a business-minded economy.
Yes.
You need to hustle and do something to start a business, because even doctors don't get that much. Like
yes.
we look at.
That's here too, though. Depending on the degrees that you have, you can go through all these years of school and still be stuck at home without a job in your field.
That happens to a lot of people.
A lot of people. So the grass ain't always greener. That's right. The whole theme of this. The grass is not always what I'm saying. The grass is not always greener.
Yeah, that's a true fact.
Statistics, and the average annual salary for an American is about $59,000, and then the average annual salary for a Ghanaian is about, I think it was $2,900 or $4,900, but that would barely get you through 2 months here in America. So obviously, like I said before, Ghanaian cedis take you a lot farther than
American
dollars.
Yeah.
But that's just the whole difference. It's really sad to see somebody go through college and get their master's.
Get a job. I just feel like in Ghana, if you want to be rich, or if you want to have enough, the school obviously, if you go to school, there are people who have gone to training colleges and they're teachers or nurses right now, and they're gaining enough for them and your families.
Mm-hmm.
But if you there are also people who are just staying home even though they've gone to school. And I feel like in Ghana, if you want to get money, it's just a quick way of working hard. If you do the education level, it might take you a long time. That's how I feel. Like, if you want to get money, there are people who have just started their own businesses, and they're really rich right now, not because they went to school. So my mom would usually say, this person is rich, they own their own company, they never went to school or college, you know what I mean? But in America, if you go to college, you're definitely getting a job. That's an assurance.
No.
Yeah,
Yes.
Exactly. Like going to college is kind of that.
I mean, that's the dream, though. They want people to go through the school system so they could come out and get this office job or this whatever job that is required in your field, and that's not the case for a lot of people sometimes.
It's not. And I have friends who are, my nurse friends, they may have not gotten a job in their field, but they've gotten some type of job. I have a friend who has a doctorate. It took her years to get where she wanted to get.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not assurance at all. And I can tell you now, with a person with 2 degrees, I made more money in my entrepreneurial journey than my degrees.
Yeah, but it is possible, though.
It's possible, but it's not an assurance that you're going to get a job in your field.
Right. Now, let me give you guys a secret to success.
What's the secret?
Here's the secret to success. You can be rich, but the only way that you can be rich if you follow these 2 steps. First one is you don't want to beat a dead horse. You don't want to find your purpose and then beat on that same talent in the same spot and think that someone is going to come to you and just blow you up and do this. The thing is that you have to find out what you really love to do. Create territory by expanding, meaning reaching out to people, letting people see what you're doing, and then elevate yourself mentally on that gift that you're carrying, so you can know what you're talking about when it's time to offer it to people. If you can operate on those 2 things and not just tap in the puddle by yourself all day doing the same thing.
Do this.
Right. No, you got to move forward with it, and you got to grow yourself mentally with it so that you can really impact people in a way that they don't see you coming for. You know what I'm saying? Right. So that's the only way you can really, I think, thrive with one talent that you really have.
Right. And I would say just to anyone who is thinking about going to school or coming here to go to school, look into jobs where it's in demand. Look into a career that's in demand.
Yeah.
And go that way.
A lot of people go into tech right now.
Yeah. Tech.
Because we know what type of time we're turning into. You know what I'm saying? Everything is going to be computerized, digitalized. I mean, look at all the way from Tesla to everything. Computerized coding is there, and there's schooling for it, and it's not that difficult, but it does take time to get through it. I ain't gonna talk about myself, but yeah, you guys can definitely do that. So that's an option out there.
And I would just say, never stop learning. Take that class, take that training, get that certificate, do it all. I am a strong advocate for education, period. Whatever the education looks like. You don't always need a 4-year degree. The 2-year degree sometimes hold more weight than that 4-year degree. And never look down on yourself. Never judge the next person based on your journey.
Right. So let's say that you're in the music industry and you be like, well, how am I going to get my song to pop, or how am I supposed to get these record deals to come to me? You educate yourself on the genre of the music, whether it's hip-hop, and then you understand the greats of people that you follow that you really, really like. And then when it comes to your music, you have so many different platforms that you can put your music on, and you have so many different brands that you can try to get your music to be listened to or be advertised on as well. So that's your territory with the brands and the hip-hop genre, understanding it. That's your mental state. So you grow upward and you grow outwardly.
Yes.
There you go.
Don't put your eggs in one basket.
Safety net, a lot of people like. Lately, kind of millennials, Gen Z, that type of people have kind of been going away from the whole college ideal. Because everyone in America, at least like my age and younger, they realize starting your own business or entrepreneurial type stuff is the way to go, because then you can become, financially free and stuff like that. Granted, yeah, you can become a doctor, go to school for 14 years, that's a long time.
And you're going to go to pension, but if you own your own company, it's yours forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so that's definitely one of those similarities that we saw as well. And last of all, the last similarity that we discovered was manners. The mannerism between Ghana and America are fairly similar.
Oh,
you
really?
have respect for your elders. You say please and thank you. You wash your hands before you eat, after you eat.
You don't talk whilst you're eating at the table.
With your mouth full.
But I think
I thought he was gonna say
I'm not
gonna
gonna call him out. I'm not gonna call him out. No, this is the similarities.
Okay,
I'm not gonna call them out, but a genre on YouTube has made us forget the manners. Okay, we burping, we doing everything else, but I understand. You're helping people have an appetite. I was one of those people that genre
did
on
we
YouTube
do that at one point?
No, the babies did.
Oh, the babies did.
The babies did. They ate some chicken.
Interesting. Oh, they sure did.
So,
the chicken, man.
Yeah, so I feel like the genre on YouTube has just made us forget those manners.
Everybody got a calling, man. That's the purpose in everything that you do. You just got to figure out where it's going to fall at. Because if it falls in the wrong hands, they're going to tell you how wrong it is. Oh, and you're going to never think it's okay to do it again. But there's a location and there's this place where people need that type of thing. They need that.
Yeah, in school, a lot of the same manners. You obviously don't talk over the teacher. You don't be disrespectful. You don't be obnoxious. If you do, then you get punished. Obviously, the punishments are different, but you do get punished. Yeah, so that's what do you think? Yeah,
I feel like it's literally the same, except Guineans have a really higher respect for especially elderly people. In our last video, we were talking about how people just call their siblings who are older than them or their moms or dads by names. In Ghana, we don't consider that as respect, but for the wash your hands before eating and those kind of
just there's cultural differences, but
yes, but then the mannerism is just like the same.
Pretty similar.
So yeah.
Awesome. Sweet. Well, that's it for us.
You guys, we're gonna stop him right there. That was interesting, man. Go check out the couple.
Yeah.
Show them some love. You know how we do it. Other than that, I liked it.
Yeah, this was a cool video. A lot of similarities, So we hope you guys enjoyed this video with us. Like this video, subscribe, turn on the post notification bell. We have enabled our super thanks if you like to support the channel that way, as well as our reaction request form is in our description box below. We'll see you soon. Peace.